Imagine touching down at an airport, passport in hand, ready for that business trip, the one you've done a dozen times before. But this time, something's different. This time, you're told the country you're from. Well, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's like something out of the Twilight Zone, right?
Exactly. And that's the baffling situation we're diving into today. The very strange tale of the Taured Man.
And this isn't some internet legend, passed around on Reddit or anything like that.
Not some creepypasta.
No, this allegedly occurred in 1954 at Haneda Airport in Tokyo and involved actual officials who were completely stumped.
Wow. Okay, so 1954, I'm picturing it. Bustling Haneda Airport, people coming and going. And amidst all this, a man approaches customs, seemingly just another traveler.
That's right, he's described as well-dressed, confident, carrying a passport, even currency from various countries.
Totally ordinary, until you get to the passport.
Exactly. That passport is where things take a strange turn.
What was wrong with it? Was it obviously fake?
Well, no, that's the thing. It looked genuine, even to experienced eyes. But it had the name of a country no one had ever heard of. Taured.
Not just a country no one recognized immediately, but one that wasn't actually on any maps.
Exactly. And here's the even more perplexing part. His passport wasn't some obvious fake. It had visa stamps from other countries, including Japan, indicating previous trips.
Hold on, so this wasn't his first time entering Japan with this passport?
Right, according to the stamps, no. So if it was a forgery, it was incredibly convincing, especially for that era.
So I'm imagining these customs officials are flipping through their reference books, like double and triple checking, right?
You can bet they were. And the guy's reaction while they're doing this, he's just as confused as they are. Adamant that Taured was a real country, a place he'd traveled from many times before. He's bewildered by the situation, not like someone trying to pull a fast one.
So not a prank. He really thought he was from this country that, as far as anyone knew, didn't exist.
That's the impression he gave. He talked about Taured like it was as real as any other nation, describing its location, even his business dealings there. He had company documents, a driver's license, all issued by this non-existent Taured.
Like he stepped out of an alternate reality. Or an alternate geography, I guess you could say.
You got it.
So we've got this guy, a passport from a country that doesn't seem to exist, documents that just raise more questions.
It's a real head-scratcher, and the authorities, well, they weren't sure what to make of it either.
I can only imagine. So what did they do with him?
They did what anyone would probably do in that situation. I mean, they detained him.
Makes sense. Figure out what's going on.
Right. They put him up in a nearby hotel for the night, kept him under guard, of course.
You'd think that'd be the moment he'd drop the act, if it was all a big joke.
You'd think so, right? But that's not what happened.
Oh, what happened?
This is where the Taured Man story, it goes from strange to truly bizarre.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The next morning, guards go to check on him, and, well, the room is empty.
He escaped. Okay, now I am picturing some kind of spy movie, secret agent disappearing act.
I know, it sounds like a scene from a film, but the thing is, there was no sign of forced entry at all.
What do you mean?
No broken windows, no hidden passages, nothing like that.
But the room was guarded, right?
Heavily guarded and on a high floor, remember? There was simply no way he could have just walked out.
Okay, so if he didn't escape in the, traditional sense, then what? He just vanished.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to make things even more baffling, all his belongings, they disappeared too.
Wait, you mean the passport, the driver's license, everything?
Gone, no trace.
This is crazy, like something out of thin air.
It's like he was never there, except for the fact that multiple people interacted with him, documented him.
Hold on, this was before facial recognition and all that, but surely they at least had his photo, right? Fingerprints?
You'd think so, but despite a thorough investigation, the Japanese authorities, they never found a single trace of him.
No missing person report, nothing.
Nothing. It's as if he truly never existed, except he did.
This is where my brain starts to melt a little bit.
Mine too. It's like we've gone from a simple case of mistaken identity to, well, something else entirely.
Something that seems to defy explanation.
Exactly. And it's that lack of an explanation that makes this case so fascinating, so enduring.
So where do we even go from here?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, because with no logical explanation, people started to look for more, well, let's say creative theories.
It's like the world is full of strange stories, but this one, it feels different, like it really happened.
It does, doesn't it? And maybe that's why, with no easy explanation, people start to reach for, well, bigger possibilities.
Like what?
Well, one of the most popular theories, and it ties into what we were talking about earlier, is that the Taured Man, he wasn't from around here.
Not from around here. You mean, like, not from Earth.
That's one way to put it. Some people believe he was a visitor from a parallel universe. You know, a reality where Taured actually exists.
Okay, so instead of a case of mistaken identity, it's a case of mistaken reality. It's a cool idea, but it seems a little far-fetched.
It might seem far-fetched, sure, but the idea of parallel universes, it's not just science fiction, you know? It's rooted in theoretical physics. There are interpretations of quantum mechanics suggesting that every outcome, every choice, could split off, create a new universe.
Okay, now my head is spinning a little bit trying to picture all those possibilities. But how do we go from complex physics to saying, oh yeah, that guy at the airport, definitely from another dimension?
Right. And it's important to be careful about jumping to those conclusions, obviously. We don't have hard evidence that he was from another dimension, but it's that lack of any other explanation, you know. On top of the timing, right in the thick of the Cold War, the space race, when people were fascinated by the unknown.
It makes you wonder if he really was just a regular guy, a businessman, but from a world just slightly different from ours. But we can't talk about out there theories without mentioning the other big one, right? Time travel.
Yes. Maybe Taured wasn't from another dimension, but another time. What if it was a real place centuries ago, wiped from the map, completely forgotten, except by him?
A visitor not from another reality, but from a lost history. Okay, now that's just as intriguing. But we keep bumping up against the same problem, don't we? We have theories, but no way to prove them.
And that's part of what makes the Taured Man so fascinating, right? It's a mystery with no clear answer. A story that highlights how much we still don't understand about our world, about reality itself.
It makes you think, you know,
Yeah.
It makes you question. And for me, that's what makes this story and others like it so endlessly fascinating.
It's a good reminder that the world is a strange and mysterious place, and some mysteries, they might just stay that way.
Well, I, for one, am happy to keep exploring those mysteries, keep asking those questions, and see where they lead. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the strange case of the Taured Man. It's a story that reminds us to stay curious, to keep an open mind, and to never, ever lose our sense of wonder. Until next time, keep exploring the unexplained.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe the channel. Please share your feedbacks and thoughts through comments.